Shabbat Shalom, friends, and Chag Shavuot Sameach. We have a story for you to help you welcome you into Shabbat this weekend, and it's also about Shavuot. So, such a great story. So here we go. Let's jump in together. It's called Kopecks for Blintzes, written by Judy, Goldman. I actually made homemade Blintzes for the first time yesterday, and they were so yummy. Kopecks for Blintzes. Chelm was a small town like many in Poland, except for two very important differences. The first was that the townspeople there were so foolish that they all believed that they were the wisest people on earth. The second was that they had 13 commandments instead of the usual 10. This is the tale of how they received those 3 extra commandments. One evening, Yankel and his wife Gittel were sitting in their tiny slanted house at the top of the steepest hill in Chelm. All was quiet. Their many sons and daughters were asleep. Yankel sighed deeply. Gittel asked, "What's wrong?" Yankel said, "In a couple of weeks, it will be Shavuot. Everyone will celebrate Moses receiving the 10 commandments. Just this morning, the rabbi reminded us, because the Torah and the commandments are sweet on the tongue on Shavuot, we should eat food prepared with milk and honey. That means blintzes. But we cannot afford the ingredients for the blintzes." Is this paged up? Yes, it is. There we go. This was true. Yankel earned very little as a malamed, a teacher, and with so many children to clothe and feed, he and Gittel had little to spare. Gittel sighed too. "If only we had a few coins, then I would make the best blintzes." They sat lost in thought, imagining blintzes stuffed with cheese, smothered in sour cream and dripping with honey or strawberry preserves. Suddenly, Yankel jumped up. "I know what we can do," he cried. "Remember that old trunk that my great-aunt Fruma gave us as a wedding gift?" Gittel wrinkled her nose. Who could forget it? "It's so big and awful that it's been in the backyard since she gave it to us." "That old trunk is going to solve our problems," said Yankel. They ran into the backyard. Yankel exclaimed, He examined the ugly, dirty trunk from all angles. Then he told Gittel his idea. "I'll make a small hole in the top of the trunk. Every day we'll drop in a kopeck. In a couple weeks, we'll open the trunk and use the coins to buy ingredients for blintzes." Gittel clapped her hands. "What an excellent plan! Yankel, you are the wisest man in this town." Gittel and Yankel washed and cleaned the trunk and even greased the very squeaky wheels. When they finished, Yankel cut a hole in the top and dropped in a kopeck. Gittel dropped in a coin too. "We'll be eating blintzes in no time," said Yankel. The next afternoon, Gittel fished a kopeck out of her apron pocket and went to the trunk, ready to drop it in. But suddenly she thought, "Why should I put a coin when Yankel brings home money from his teaching every day? Let him do it." So she put the coin back in her pocket. That night, when Yankel came home, he searched his vest pocket for a kopeck. He was about to drop it in the trunk when he thought, Why should I put a coin if Gittel will add one every day? She must have plenty of money left over after taking care of the household expenses. With what she puts in there, surely we'll have enough for Blintzes. So he put the coin back in his pocket. And this went on for several days. On the morning before Shavuot, Gittel, Yankel, and their children gathered in front of the trunk. Yankel lifted the lid, and everyone peered in. What do you think's going to happen? We've been robbed! Gasped Yankel. Gewalt! Gelta wailed. Those thieves left us only 2 coins. But then, out of the corner of her eye, she looked at Yankel. Tell me the truth, Yankel. Did you drop in your coins? Well, no. I knew yours would be enough, Yankel's eyes widened. Wait, you didn't drop in your coins either? Well, if you had put your coins in, then we would have had enough, snapped Gittel. Yankel groaned. Now we won't eat Blintzes, and it's all your fault. Whose fault is it really? If you weren't so stingy, this would have never happened, Gittel yelled. She jabbed Yankel in the chest with her finger. He stepped back, tripped, and lost his footing. Help, he cried, grabbing Gittel by her apron as he tipped over into the trunk. Oh! Gittel fell into the trunk on top of him. The lid slammed shut, and the trunk rolled out of the yard and down the hill. Oh, man. As the trunk rolled into the crowded streets, it gathered speed. Oi, oi, Yankel yelled. Gewalt, gewalt, Gittel shouted. People screamed to get out of the trunk's way. It narrowly missed an old woman who made a sign to ward off the evil eye. Oi, she cried. There's a demon in the trunk. I heard it yelling. The forces of evil have come to Shalom. A crowd of scared but very curious people ran after the trunk. At last it reached the bottom of the hill, and it rolled to a stop in front of the synagogue. The rabbi, who had been decorating the synagogue with Shavuot greens, looked up in surprise. He approached the trunk and heard the muffled sounds coming from inside. As he reached out to touch the latch, a man yelled, Don't touch it, Rabbi! There are devotes inside! A woman added, If they're let loose, we'll be lost! The rabbi's gentle face paled. He reached for his prayer book and turned page after page, looking for prayers to banish whatever was in the trunk from Shalom. When he finally found it, he closed his eyes, swayed back and forth, and mumbled the words. The townspeople stepped back, just in case the prayer hadn't worked and done its job. Ever so slowly, the rabbi opened the trunk, and out popped Gittel and Yankel. Everyone stared. How did you come to be in this trunk? Asked the rabbi. When he had heard the story, the rabbi sighed. Go home, everyone. This has been a terrible experience for all of us, so I must think of a way to prevent it from ever happening again. The rabbi went to his study and consulted his books. All night he searched for an answer. After a sleepless night, he came to a decision. The following morning, during Shavuot services, right after the 10 Commandments were read, the rabbi announced 3 new commandments. They were written in big black letters on a board and placed at the entrance of the synagogue. Thou shalt allow no melamed of Chelm to live on a hill. 1. Thou shalt allow no melamed of Chelm to make Blintzes. 2. And thou shalt allow no melamed of Chelm to own trunks with wheels. 3. See, they changed the 10 Commandments up there. So it would be the 13 now. And they are there still, reminding everyone that Chelm is home to the world's finest fools. The end. What a silly story. That was Kopecks for Blintzes by Judy, Goldman. You ready to sing Bim Bam with us? Get your hands ready together on the count of 3. Achad, shtayim, shalosh. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Cheery, very, very bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Ready? Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Thanks so much for joining us for our Shabbat story this week. We hope you have a beautiful and restful Shabbat and a happy Shavuot, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, friends.